Hey, good afternoon, guys. Have a little technical difficulty there. Well, it's been a interesting few days since I talked to y'all. This crud has turned into being some really crud. I've got out today for the first time, and I'm gonna try to talk to y'all as long as I can, but I may have to cut it short because I still get to coughing sometimes talking. I know when you get a bug at almost 67, it's a little bit different than 37, I promise you. Well, come on, Ham Radio Cat. Yeah, I got a couple of shout outs I want to give today. Long-time listener Chris Howell sends me a lot of stuff, and a lot of links I post on here you got to get from him. He sent me this a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot it. So I'm going to put these two pics at the end of this video. KF4 Alpha Bravo Chris Howell sent me a couple of pics from Larson antennas showing approximate or anticipated lobes of direction you'll get from off wherever you mount your antenna on a vehicle. With center roof is always best, but a lot of times with low-hanging garages and things like that, that gets to be a problem. So it's some good information on there, and you'll get to check that out. Also, one of our listeners, Robert Garner Jr. I may pronounce that wrong, Robert. I'm sorry. Kilo Bravo 6 JFL. He was top 10 in the ARRL 10-meter single sideband contest, and he was number 2 in the CWCQ worldwide contest a few weeks earlier. Congratulations, Robert. Guys, I've always told you new guys things about two things. Excuse me. Contest and POTA is a good way to rack contacts up and get you some time on the air. So don't turn away from it if you don't want to. Personally, I'm not a contester, but I don't have no problem with contesting or POTA either. So congratulations, Robert. Thank you, Chris. Oh, excuse me. Guys, we've seen a lot of videos out last week or two, everybody extolling the virtues of the 7300 Mark II. Well, come on, get up here, baby. Unfortunately, you're not going to see one of them videos here because I'm not a big enough YouTuber. Any manufacturer will send me one to test. I will say this: I'm not knocking anything. I'm glad they put them radios out. Some of them bigger guys can tell you about them in case you're thinking about upgrading. I'm not thinking about upgrading. The newest radio I got on the bench here is 20 years old. I like operating this older stuff. And I told my wife I leave all my YouTube money in one account. In fact, I'm supposed to get paid this weekend. And I'm going to buy me a new HF rig out of that. So by the time at the rate YouTube's paying me, the 7300 Mark 7 ought to be available when I get where I can buy one. So we'll do a video on that when that comes up. But anyway, guys, all thing I want to mention about when people are telling you about new radios and how good they are and the specs, and these guys are great, especially Smoking Ape. I really love his reviews of radios. Ham Radio Tube does good too. And all I want to mention is one thing. If you're in a position to drop that much money on a radio, be sure if you can go to a dealer that's got one hooked up, but you can listen to it. I read a lot of social media posts about what's got the best receiver, what's got the best front end, back end, best output, whatever. And like I said, 99% of those people are saying whatever's best. If you look behind them, that's sitting on their bench. Now, don't anybody get me wrong here. I'm not knocking 7300. They're great radios. Several guys in our group run them. Kent runs one. Tim runs one. Robert Stoll. Ronnie Hull. Dang. Got 7,300. Oh. Excuse me a minute. Oh. Let's see if I can continue that. I got a cough drop. Like I said, I'm not knocking 7,300s at all. The only thing I'll say this: when it comes down to people telling you what's got the best receiver in it, and I'm not saying that some of them aren't better than the other ones. By no means am I saying that. But from personal experience, youth and musicians are going to be able to hear the differences in these radios better than the average person. I'm going to use me and Jeff, for example. My buddy Jeff, WD5HKV, we worked together for 35 years in a high noise environment. Can't either one of us hear crap, basically. His radio sound fine, my radio sound fine. Cody, W5DLX, is a younger, early 40s, maybe 39 or 40. Cody, I hope I got your age right. Tim, he's just a couple of years younger than me, but a year younger than me, but he's a musician, been a musician for a long time. They both can tell the differences in how our mics sound and how radios sound. Tim has got a 991, he bought brand new, and he's got a 7300. He swears the 7300 sounds 100% better than a 991. I guarantee if I went down there and had them both side by side, I probably couldn't tell the difference. So, a lot of what you're getting there, and I'm not saying you're not getting your money's worth. Don't get me wrong. Don't anybody take any of this the wrong way. Not everybody's going to hear the same on the radio. So there's a lot of great features with the 7300 Mark II. That's a little more than what the Mark I costs. I'm not used to these waterfall displays on these radios, so I hadn't got to talk about that yet. Just think about what you're spending your money on, because this is one thing that you will spend a lot of money on in this hobby, is a good HF radio. Well, hello there. You run ham radio cat off? This is Finn, y'all. One of our boy cats that thinks he's can get into everything. All right. I hope I rambled enough there on that. Like I say, when you go to find a radio, look at all the aspects of it. If you're really interested, pull the spec sheet and lay them side by side and see what the specs compare off on them. I mentioned this in an older video of mine a long time ago. When I first got involved with HF in the military, we had a Harris Pacer Bounce radio. And it looked like that guy at work that was always busy, you thought was really working if you watched him from a distance. But when you get over close to him and realize he ain't doing crap, that's the way this radio was. From a distance, it looked like a state-of-the-art radio. When you got up there and tried to operate it, it was kind of a junky radio. Just for curiosity's sake, I come home on a weekend, I was off, and I had to go back the next week. I took the manual for my ICOM 701, which is a 1979 vintage radio. Had my original spec sheet in it. I took it back to Barksdale, pulled the manual on that radio, pulled the spec sheet out, laid them side by side. All the specs identical, with the exception that this one had general coverage receive in it and transmit, and it was capable of having crypto devices hooked to it. Other than that, it was the exact same HF radio that I had, that 701, that I give $300 for used, and the government give $25,000 for that one, the amp, and all the shipping boxes for it. So, new radios are great. They're a lot of fun. Good way to get in the hobby and not have problems for a lot of years to buy a new radio. There's nothing wrong with that. And the ICOM has been kind of the flagship of the 3 amateur radios all of my career to begin with. I like ICOM. I've got one of each. Well, I've got 2 Yaesus, an older ICOM, and an older Kenwood up here now. I like all of them. I can't tell you one sounds better than the other, though, because they all sound the same to me. Just the way my ears are. That's all I'm trying to point out, is don't make a decision based strictly on what you either read or see on TV or on social media. Now, bear in mind, I love Smoking Apes reviews, and whatever he says about that radio, you can bet it's 100%. So just take that as you want to, but spend your money wisely. Get in this hobby and have some fun with it. Yeah, that's about all I'm going to be able to do for the day. The slides on the antenna mounts will be following this, and MRG Labs will be the first slide, and the usual stuff afterwards. It's KB5 and my QB boy, 7-3.